Welcome. I invite you to subscribe, like, and share the story. We really appreciate your support. Enjoy the journey. The memory of the day when our father's will was made public still haunts me, casting its dark shadow over my thoughts. Standing side by side with my brother James, filled with anticipation, we listened to the lawyer's voice echoing through the room. We had no idea that this moment marked the beginning of an ominous plunge into the depths of darkness. James, the unknown is killing me, Richard. What do you think Father left us? Richard, I can hardly contain my excitement, James. Let's hope it's something extraordinary. When the lawyer began to read, my heart skipped a beat. Our father left behind a huge fortune, which was to be divided equally between James and me. The promise of unimaginable wealth has overshadowed the love and bonds that once united us. It was at this moment that the seed of greed rose in my brother's soul, causing a series of despicable acts. James and I, once allies, were caught up in a confusing game of superiority. Every interaction turned into a carefully choreographed performance, hiding our true intentions behind fake smiles and polite exchanges. Beneath the surface, a storm of intrigue and manipulation was boiling. Richard, James, I feel the tension between us. What's gotten into you? James, oh, nothing, dear brother, just the excitement of the competition. Driven by an insatiable thirst for more, I watched as my brother allowed his mind to be clouded by the charm of luxury. He communicated with dubious personalities, making intricate plans to deceive appraisers and underestimate the value of specific assets, and all this in order to get a large share of the inheritance. I witnessed how he rejoiced in the deception, not paying attention to the harm he had caused me. In the midst of our rivalry, James was faced with a choice that forever stained his soul. Yielding to desire, James entered into an illicit relationship with Isabella, my wife. It was a moment of weakness and betrayal, so deep that it destroyed the fragile remnants of our already crumbling relationship. Richard, James, how could you? This is my wife. James, Richard, I'll take everything from you. I have lived in your shadow all my life. You have always been above everything in our family. I was not noticed, not fully appreciated, and not loved. You were the #1 favorite in the family. I was distraught from the spoken words, could not stand it, and went to his face. James, you're not my brother anymore. I don't want to see you. Screaming, James leaves, slamming the door. This act exposed the true extent of my brother's depravity. He enjoyed the chaos and pain he had caused himself, oblivious to the impending consequences. The line between good and evil became blurred, and his actions doomed me to an undeserved fate. The exposure of this case has opened wounds in me that will never fully heal. My rage and devastation permeated the air as I watched my world crumble before my eyes. The living spirit I once possessed has withered, replaced by a tortured, soul-seeking retribution. Sitting at home, I drank whiskey and thought about how to take revenge on my brother for what he had done. A feeling of revenge and anger filled my mind. My thoughts were like this: do everything so that he does not get a single cent. Guilt gnawed at my conscience, but it was too late to turn back. My brother crossed a threshold from which there could be no return. He became a prisoner of his insatiable greed, caught in a cycle of deception and addiction. The consequences of our actions echo in our lives like a mournful dirge. I divorced Isabella, severing the unbreakable bond that held our family together. The inheritance we fought so fiercely for has become a meaningless prize, tainted by our distorted desires. I drank a lot and thought about the whole situation, and I just couldn't believe it. Eventually, the thirst for revenge in me cooled down. Rumors began to reach me. James began to use drugs. When the weight of his sins fell on him, my brother sought solace in the embrace of drugs. They offered him a short-term relief from pain, a temporary release from the darkness that he himself had created. Day after day, he sank deeper into the abyss, losing himself every moment. His descent into addiction became a voluntary repentance, a constant reminder of the chaos he sowed in our lives. While I embarked on the path of redemption, my brother remained in the shackles of guilt and remorse. Richard, James, we still have a chance. Let's talk. Get rid of your vices and seek help. James, it's too late for me, Richard. There's no way to save me. Don't waste your efforts on me. I have witnessed the profound impact of the foundation I founded, the lives I've touched and transformed. My heart yearned for my brother's redemption, but it eluded him like a fleeting ghost. Drugs became his only companions, plunging him further into isolation and despair. In the end, my brother's personal demons proved insurmountable. The very drugs that once offered him temporary salvation turned into chains that bound him, tightening tighter every day. The numb fog they created became his desperate refuge from the merciless darkness that engulfed his soul. Richard: James, I can't bear to see you like this. Please let me help you. James: there's nothing you can do for me right now, Richard. I can't be cured anymore. Just remember me as I was once. These were his last words that I remembered, and after a couple of weeks I decided to visit him. While I was walking, I was thinking how to establish a connection with him and try to help him get off the needle. But he didn't have time. He was found dead with a drug overdose. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the severity of his actions became unbearable. Guilt, remorse, and obsessive memories constantly tormented his conscience. He could no longer recognize the person he had become, just the shell shattered. My brother's demise left behind a void, an obsessive reminder of a life defined by misguided ambitions and broken relationships. The news of his untimely death reflected on the lives of those whom he had wronged, serving as a harsh testimony to the consequences of our actions. I, Richard, the surviving brother who became a lawyer, stood on the threshold of our common tragedy. I was forced to face the consequences of our actions, the loss of our family, the pain caused to loved ones, and the irreparable damage caused by our insatiable thirst for wealth. After my brother's death, I was faced with a crucial choice: to succumb to the bitterness and despair that consumed him, or to rise above it and seek redemption. With unwavering determination, I chose the latter, determined to break the vicious circle of destruction that has plagued our family for too long. After coping with my grief, I directed my pain and regret to the creation of the James Foundation for the treatment of drug addiction. It became a beacon of hope for those who were trapped by the same demons that tragically claimed my brother's life. Through my tireless efforts, I have touched the lives of countless people by offering them a lifeline for redemption and healing. I have become a guiding star, leading those who are lost in the depths of despair to the path of forgiveness and compassion. The story of two brothers and their ruined inheritance is an instructive parable, a poignant reminder of the destructive influence of greed and the profound consequences of uncontrolled desire. This serves as irrefutable proof that material goods can never replace the sacred bonds of love and family. May this instructive story inspire future generations to choose the path of righteousness, compassion, and selflessness, ensuring that the mistakes of the past will not be repeated in the future. The end. Thank you for joining me on this exciting journey of love, betrayal, and redemption. I appreciate your support and encourage you to subscribe, like, and share this story. Like and share this story. Your participation and feedback are invaluable for shaping our content and promoting mutual understanding and community growth. Until we meet again.